Mr. Chairman, by invitation of Miss Wendy Benedetto, I attended the St. Charles Parish networking meeting at the Ormond Country Club. It's kind of like a business association meeting, but all the businesses get together and they all sit down at a different table and kind of discuss how can their business help their neighbors. So if you get a chance to attend, it's well worth it. I met with Mr. Chris Weber from the Louisiana Technical College. Mr. Weber is in charge of the industrial part of the college. He informed me that they're in dire need of 1,500 craftsmen for the projects coming up in the River Parish region. If you know of any young kids who want to be a welder, pipe fitter, electrician, instrumentation guy, please send them to Louisiana Technical College. Met with the River Parish Transit Authority, Mr. Brett P.T. As you know, this is a program that is going to start up probably in the end of August. It's going to be St. John, St. Charles. You can call them up. They'll pick you up at your house, deliver you to a site, and you let them know what time you need to be picked up, and they'll bring you back home. The only problem is, originally the parish had committed $125,000 to this project. Now they're asking, because of the increase in cost and fuel, they're asking us to contribute another $50,000, which would bring our share to $175,000. I asked them to give us a more detailed breakdown how they came up with the additional $50,000. So as soon as I get that breakdown, I'll get it to you. We met with Mr. Cochran, and Mr. Sholey and myself met with the DOTD regarding the flooding situation along River Road, US 61 and US 48 and by the library in St. Rose. The DOT is going to put in some drainage improvements, and we hope to eliminate that problem we have by the library and Charlestown. I'd like to thank everybody who participated in the Relay for Life, the Redo Relay for Life. We had to end up having it in the courthouse downstairs. It wasn't too well attended, but boy, the people who were there sure had a good time. They had the courthouse rocking and rolling down there, so we had a great time. And I'd also like to thank Kendall Stahl, from Renee, and Anidra from our staff for doing a terrific job. We also met, since we had the RFQs sent out for the master drainage plans, we had over 21 firms submitted proposals. So I think the message is getting out that St. Charles Parish is open for business, and that any engineer who wants a fair shot is going to get a shot. I'd like to congratulate Charlie Ube, the clerk of court, who was sworn in last week on his 9th term in office, and his closing remarks were he's probably going to be around for another 4 years and might even run again. So congratulations to Charlie. I'd like to thank Renee, Anidra, the Recreation Department for an outstanding job on the 4th of July celebration. I'd also like to thank Larry. Larry and his jambalaya cooking crew came out, and I think they generated what, $1,300, another $1,300 for Relay for Life. So I think the rain kind of scared a lot of people away, but they did come out. We had a very good crowd. It was cool, no mosquitoes, and Renee had to fly over down to 30 seconds, so I don't think we can get any better than that. And everybody I talked to had a great time. We also, this week, you should have got a water quality report that Robbie sent out in his department. The report showed that we met or exceeded all state and federal regulations concerning water quality in our parish, and Robbie did a great job. And as you know, we have been awarded the award for the best tasting water in the state of Louisiana. Sam and I and Bobby have been meeting and having discussion on fuel costs. What can we do to reduce the fuel costs? It's going higher and higher, and it's not going to come down. So, and we're also looking at changing our purchasing policies on cars and trucks. We would be purchasing smaller size vehicles, unless it's a vehicle that's really needed to pull a heavy piece of equipment. We'll be looking at the type of motors they use, how many quarts of oil they hold, what size tires that they use. So we got to do everything we can to cut our fuel costs down, and I think the only way we can do this is by cutting back on some of these vehicles that we buy. The Department of Community Services applied, and last week was awarded a sub-grant awarded $50,000. I'm sorry, $5,000 from the Louisiana Associated Partners Incorporated, which is an organization that manages funds for all community action agencies. The grant will be used between August 2008 and July 2009 to provide programs that educate families through demonstrations, activities on energy conservation as a step towards empowering them to be more proactive and in the control of their financial experiences. Because of the accuracy and the effectiveness, the St. Charles Parish Department of Community Services was chosen among 42 agencies as one of the few to receive additional grant money to assist residents, including families with children 5 and under, low income, disability, and elderly with high costs of utilities. The department received over $58,000 last week and is currently accepting appointments. The St. Charles Parish Golden Dreamers participated in the friendly Tri-Parish Youth Restoration Corps, led as a conservation and recycling drive Thursday, July 3rd, 2008, by providing energy conservation cost-saving tips costs to the courthouse employees and residents of Paul Frederick Street in Luling. The Parish Summer Food Service Program expected to provide over 13,000 lunch meals by July 7th. This more than double the number from 2007. Thanks to the cooperative work between the Department of Community Service, Department of Recreation, and St. Charles Parish School Board. Last year, I think they had 150 participants. This year, we got over 300, so we got additional 150 kids off the street this year. Wastewater experienced an emergency situation due to a force main break on Union Street in Muntz. The department found the force main leak at approximately 9 a.m. on 6/25/08, declared emergency and repaired the force main by 2 p.m. that afternoon. All systems were back online and in full operation. From 1999 to 2001, St. Charles Parish Water Works Department was issued 8 Wastewater Department was issued 8 administrative orders by the EPA for permit non-compliance issues. As of June 16, 2008, the last administrative order, docket number such and such, was cleared. At this time, St. Charles Parish Wastewater Department has satisfied all administrative costs previously issued, previously issued, and is in compliance with our EPA and our DEQ permits. We applied for and have been awarded a $70,000 grant for the Emergency Charitable Foundation to purchase playground equipment and other improvements for the Muntz Park. And I see Mr. Doug Rhodes is here tonight. Doug, we want to personally thank you. I know you had a lot to do with this, and we're looking forward to getting that equipment in. And that, Mr. Chairman, concludes my report. Thank you.
Mr. St. Pierre, do we have any update on the West Bank hurricane protection?
Yeah, we had the last meeting with all of the departments. I was really excited about when we came out of the meeting. I was so disgusted that the latest thing is that you know, we still trying to get the modified southern alignment. The Corps is kind of adamant about wanting to give us the permit for the northern alignment. So we're asking them to please look at this, because number one, they would the northern alignment would put the levee right up against the people's houses in the back. It would now not allow us enough footprint to put our drainage, our borough canal, to get the water to the pumps. So they're asking us to, and the reason why we don't want to do this, because we're gonna have to go back into Willowdale, Willow Ridge, redo all the drainage in that subdivision to modify the size of the culverts to have some type of retention area until the water can get to the pump. So now they asked us to go back and do a drainage analysis of what would it cost us to modify all the drainage in that area. That's where we stand right now.
And to clarify, when you say northern and southern alignment, you mean for our levee, correct? We're not talking about the GIWW or the...
No, we're talking about our levees, right?
The phase 2 of the
right.
3-phase project.
Right. He said, you know, the most discouraging part about this, he said, even if we come to some type of agreement, this thing still has to go to Washington, D.C., to the Department of Justice, and even after we come up with an agreement on alignment, it's probably going to take us another 6 months after that to get this thing approved through Washington. So this is frustrating. It's very frustrating.
So in the meantime, should we be contacting our congressmen and senators?
I would. I mean, every citizens in the St. Charles Parish that are affected by the levee, I'll be having write somebody. You know, our senators, representatives, Corps of Engineers, and